This is a true story about what happens when a simple curiosity about heritage turns into a life-altering revelation. I'll walk you through what happened when a past I never knew about suddenly came crashing into my future. I'm Chelsea, and this is the Milkman's Daughter. All right, welcome back.
Great.
Back for round two.
Round two, let's go.
Round two. So I wanted to break it up so that we could spend some time talking about our first meeting.
Okay.
First physical meetup.
Yeah. That was. I was kind of nervous, because you're going to meet your daughter.
Well, yeah. So what was going through your mind like the day before when we had decided we were going to meet up? What was going through your head?
Well, I wonder, what's she going to be like? There's one thing of talking on the phone. Mm-hmm. We talked on the phone, and I think we finally did a FaceTime.
We did, yeah.
And while I was driving, I think you got on me for that. I was going to a meeting, and I remember that was the first time, because I was like, well, why are we just talking? Why don't we? Because I just had both of us just, Facebook stalking to see what
pictures,
see what doesn't look like, and so I was nervous on how's this going to be. What's is she going to like me? Am I going to like her? Because there's one thing, when you meet somebody in person, you really.
Yeah.
It's different.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. So, I mean, I wasn't like nervous to, I don't want to do this, but I was just nervous of, I hope this goes good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So we decided to meet up at Charleston's. So let's go into why that was significant for both of us. Just a little bit. Not too much.
Yeah, because you'll go deeper into that as you.
We'll go into it more, but why we decided to meet at Charleston.
Yeah.
So I'll let you.
That's where Robin, my wife, we met her birth dad there. Mm-hmm. So how great we thought she met her birth dad at this Charleston's. I get to meet my daughter at this Charleston, so that's why we chose Charleston. Besides, they got good food, but
and funny because as it turned out, that's where I worked through college. So right. That's right. When you suggested Charleston's, I was like, okay, that's fine with me.
I actually, until you said that, I forgot about it. Remember you saying that now?
Mm-hmm.
But isn't that where you and Matt met? You were at Charleston's and he was at
Applebee's. We met at the Applebee's, but we were both working there on Restaurant Row together. And yeah. Cool. That's how we met. So when we met up, what was the first thing that you noticed when you saw me?
I saw you walking. We pulled up and, we're supposed to meet at 2:00, whatever the time was. And I saw what I thought was you walking towards the door, and I was coming over here. We were kind of coming at the same time. I said, "Hey, Chelsea."
You hollered at me.
I hollered at you. You're like, "Oh, who's this crazy guy?" And we've got video of that. Mm-hmm. Robin was taking video of all that, just like I took video of her and her biological dad. But I remember you. You kind of turned around, kind of look on your face of first time I see my dad, and I kind of had the first time I in person see my daughter. But it was exciting. I remember we hugged and it was like I don't know. It felt I liked it. I like connecting with my daughter. So it was fun. It's exciting to think about. We talked a lot leading up to this. And now the rubber meets the road, and we're going to kind of see how we are in person with each other.
Right.
But I told Matt later, I said, I appreciated the fact that you trusted your wife, obviously, but that you trusted from what you were able to find out about me that, I mean, it's not easy to send your wife off to meet this strange.
I don't know that I've ever asked him, but I would be surprised if he didn't have some sort of a backup plan. Yeah. Trusting, to say that he trusted you, I think would be a far stretch, because I don't think he was there yet.
Yeah.
But I think he had enough, he felt comfortable enough that he didn't think I was, we're meeting in a public place, like all of the right things, So if you could describe our first meet in one word, what word would you use?
Crazy. I mean, you put everything together, of what to get there, what all you've gone through, and to finally meet. I mean, there's a lot of words, but it was a crazy feeling. It was the circumstances were crazy, and not crazy in the crazy, nutty, but just.
I don't know. I think it was a little bit nutty.
Well, yeah, there was.
I think it could be crazy in all of the senses.
there was a lot of different, was it emotional? Was it emotional for you?
Emotional?
Yeah, you're not an overly emotional.
I am not an overly emotional person, but there were a lot of emotions for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of things going through and just at that time anyways, I was still so keyed up, and I don't even know how to describe it, because it all started the day that I found out, and then it just kind of kept going from there, and it never really stopped because I never stopped. And so I was still at that point a ball of nerves and emotions and all of it.
Yeah. It's because we both what's this person going to be like? Is this going to be somebody that we want to be around? Mm-hmm. Just because I'm your biological father, just because you're my biological daughter, we didn't have the privilege of growing up with each other. We're thrown together in a sense.
Exactly, yeah.
After we both lived, a lot of our life.
Yeah.
And so it's not something that everybody could handle.
Sure.
Because when you get into Robin's story, she'll share her story that is challenging. I mean, don't get me wrong, we've got the best relationship with her dad. That's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
You'll understand when you visit with her. I'll let her share that.
I think I meant to ask you this the last time, and I forgot to, kind of going back a little bit. When you started telling family, but specifically Brandon, how was that phone call? Was he the first person that you reached out to outside of Robin and Kirk, of course?
Kirk. I have two other boys that were a blended family. Made those calls very early. I think I made them all kind of boom, boom, boom.
Oh, okay.
It seemed like in a short span of time. But with Brandon, kind of anybody I told us, if they had a spouse, can you bring your wife or your brother or your...
Oh, that makes it sound scary.
Well, and I want to tell you guys, and I didn't want to have to say it twice, but that can... I tried to say it in a way that wasn't like, I've got some horrible news for you.
Right.
Because that's,
Yeah.
But I got to the point, seemed like fairly quickly, but Brandon, I just told him, I said, well, looks like you got a sister, something like that. Mm-hmm. And he, there's kind of some quiet on that because he's like, what?
Right.
What are you talking about? And I told him, I said, well, you understand DNA. I said, I think you know where I'm going here. So I told him I got this phone call from this girl that says she did DNA testing, and you now have a half sister.
And he cried, right? Like big crocodile tears, right?
Yeah, that's Brandon.
Let the record reflect.
Yeah.
Brandon cried like a big old baby.
Yeah. Yeah, he couldn't hardly talk the rest of the time. Yeah. I get him to cry is be a challenge, you know.
Well, that's how I know we're related.
Yeah. Hey, the two of you, if I'm talking to one and they're acting, if it's you and you're acting this way, I'm like, geez, Louise, you're just like your dead burn brother, you know. If I'm talking,
I know
to
you're
him,
saying that with you mean when we're doing something just real special.
yeah,
right?
yeah. Your personalities are very similar. All right, you know, and I think I've told you this, but if I'm talking to you, I can tell, well, they're through talking, you know. But you're both that way. Of course, I'm how I am too, you know. And I know y'all probably see, well, that yeah, he's this way and that way, which that's great. But it's kind of crazy to see how the two of you are so similar in how you handle things. And one, what's funny is you think he's stubborn, he thinks you're stubborn, you know. And I know you both are.
Yeah. He's more stubborn than I am.
He's pretty good at it.
I'm more mature than he is.
Yes.
So,
oh yeah.
so he's more stubborn.
Yeah.
So that kind of leads me into my next question, and maybe this answers it. But would you say that our similarities has been one of the more surprising things, or what's been the most surprising to you about?
I think surprising, yeah, but the similarities, the side by side picture, or having you both, in person side by side, the similarities in talking to you. It's like, am I talking to Brandon or am I talking to Chelsea? So it is fun. It has been fun. The relationship that a daughter and brother and father have, we're all working through that. I think we've done a decent job. Have we been perfect? No, but
like you said, there's no guidebook, so we're figuring it out.
Yeah. And what did you say earlier? We need to write a book.
I mean, maybe we should.
Bestseller. Like I was saying, these phone calls have the possibility and probability of happening more and more as time goes on.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what are you looking forward to in the future?
I'm looking for, especially with you and I, as a more personal relationship, a closer relationship, to where we're more comfortable. I look at my twin brother and his daughter Tiffany, the relationship they had, and that's the context that I thought when we first met. I thought, oh, I've got a Tiffany. Well, they've had each other from the day they were born. Mm-hmm. You and I don't have that history.
Yeah.
And I know I've in my head somebody think, oh, I've got a Tiffany. She should just bend over backwards for me, that kind of deal. What I've looking into the future, your question is I look forward to us having a closer father-daughter relationship where you would feel comfortable calling me up and saying, hey, Dad, this or that. Just silly stuff. It doesn't have to be anything. I went to the grocery store today and this guy cut me off, just where we have, and we don't have to have a 2-hour conversation, which I'll take a 2-hour conversation every time, but to where we're both comfortable with just how was your day? Yeah, it was a bad day. I'm busy and you know, the dog was all over you know what I mean? I'm giving suggestions too while we're talking.
You're rambling.
Maybe. Where do you want to see this? You know, it's a two-way deal here, right?
Well, I never inferred that it was a two-way deal here.
Okay.
That's fine though. So I don't have any specific expectations. I'm just hopeful to just keep going and then hoping that time will help make it easier, more comfortable. And then again, going back to my therapy, that's helping me. You know, I pray about it. Like I feel like I'm doing what I need to do to get myself in a healthier place to feel more I don't want to say more open because it's not that I'm not open, but just more receiving. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
I know that's a process for both of us. And sometimes I get ahead of the game. I know that.
Well, we're two different personalities.
Yeah.
So, you know, figuring each other out in that way, I think is, you know, it's just part of the process.
When we first met, kind of backing up, we were both kind of dancing around. You know, does she like me? Does he like me? Do we mesh? But it was, we were both filling each other out,
right?
Trying to see if who is this person? You know, what do I want out of this? What am I getting out of this? Where are we at? And that was a funny time because until, you know, I was hesitant on telling some people, until I saw that you and I will work out.
Right.
You know.
Right. That I wasn't a nut job, or at least a complete nut job.
Yeah, you know, just halfway,
Yeah.
You know, and I can accept that, the halfway part.
Well, you're half of the problem.
Yeah. So. Good comeback there.
That was all my questions I had.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to ask you some questions.
That's not how this goes.
This is an odd cast.
An odd cast?
Yeah, you did the podcast. Now we'll do the
odd.
Gosh. How are your feelings now versus when we first met? How have you seen them change, grow?
I don't know. I mean,
come on now, you asked me some stuff.
I mean, that's hard to go into because it's been a lot of up and downs and learning things about myself I didn't realize, addressing things that I didn't know I needed to address. It's just, there's been a lot. This has brought out a lot, but I feel a lot more stable, not as wishy-washy and up and down as I did. So I'm getting better as I go. I've got a really good therapist. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's.
Yeah, I mean, there's not just absolute answers. So let me ask you this. You asked me, you know, how I was of telling family, how your husband was involved during the process, so he knew what was going on. Did your daughter, at what point did you bring her into the discussion? Was she involved early on, knew what was going on, and how was that?
Yeah, no, I didn't tell her anything. I didn't feel like it was appropriate to involve her until I knew how everything was going to play out. And even when we first talked, I didn't tell her immediately. I think I can't remember exactly, but I gave it a little bit of time until I felt like, okay, I'm
not introducing her to some weirdo.
Well, and not even that, but just like, is this a safe relationship? And do I feel like this is something that I want to bring?
Yeah, right.
Very protective of my kids. So
absolutely.
But yeah, no, I remember when I told her though, because I was taking her to school and I told her on the drive there and she was just so funny. She was so excited. She was like, oh my gosh, can I tell my friends? Sure. They're probably going to be confused, but sure, whatever.
Yeah. And that it's like not my youngest granddaughter, but next to the youngest, we were sitting, it was at a softball game, and her question was, we were talking about you, and she looked at me and said, Papa, did you forget you had a daughter?
Such a sweet, innocent thing.
And, it's perfectly great question for and
shame on you.
Did you forget you had a daughter?
So sweet.
All right.
But I think we'll wrap it up. Round 2.
Okay. Yeah.
That was good. Thanks again.
But thank you.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do another one. We'll see.
We'll do another one. Oh, just bring it on.
Well, that wraps up part 2 of the Milkman interviews. I hope you enjoyed the little glimpse into our dynamic. The teasing and joking started pretty much from day 1 and is definitely something he passed down to me. Next time, I'll be sitting down with my brother Brandon, and maybe we'll find out just who is the most stubborn one. Thanks so much for listening to The Milkman's Daughter and being part of this journey with me. If you've got a story of your own you'd like to share, you can email me at milkmansdaughterpod@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. And before I go, I'd like to give a big thank you to Michael Stelzer for the beautiful original music you've been hearing throughout the show. It really gives the story its heartbeat.